Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine, Skeeter Bass Boats, Hurricane Deck Boats, Pontoon Boats by Suncatcher and Godfrey Aqua Patio, John Boats by G3, on and on and on. No boat dealer from Atlanta to Nashville carries more lines, more different types of boats at better prices than Madisonville Marine. What does that make them? Well, it makes them no better. There's no better place to buy a boat. It makes them the best boat dealer in the Southeast, and you need to get down there and check them out. Highway 411 North in Madisonville. Okay, last year Danny White announced a new 5-year goal for the athletic department. He has already met the financial goal in year one. That's thanks to the success they're having as an athletic department, also thanks to donors. How insane are the numbers? And that's what Danny White told Joe Rexroad of The Athletic. He said the numbers are just insane. How insane? Let me show you this. There's the $200 million club. Last year, 2021-22, that fiscal year, only 5 schools topped $200 million last year. That's it, 5. Ohio State, Texas, Alabama, Michigan, and Georgia. The Athletic is reporting that Tennessee will make $202 million this year. So, as you know, I've kind of joked on here about, I don't want to hear crying about their $8 million fine. They would rather be fined than lose that postseason game. The fine is nothing. Oh no, there's big money in that. No. I've said repeatedly, if you don't believe there's money, go look at the campus, and then people say, well, that's from a different pool of money. That pool of money still comes from the same donors who are donating to a music building or a business building or a football program. What Danny White has done is unreal here. Not only are they winning in all kinds of sports, everything basically, that's got the pumps juiced, so it's easier to get the money out of the spigot. But also, he's having to get new boosters on board. They said that they had 18,000 donors on the books 2 years ago, and last year they had 28,000. Part of that is due to the winning, especially in football. Part of that also is due to Danny White and his plan. This guy was known as a fundraiser. He's knocking it out of the ballpark. Let's discuss that, the money, but also, Vince, how does that tie back into the conversation we just had about scheduling? I mean, the votes are going more negative. It's still at below par there, but it's at about 130 to 25 now in terms of voting in the other direction. People think it's a negative schedule, but they're not holding back their money.
If it was such a big problem, they would be holding back their money, because you get to those kind of numbers of revenue by having major big money donors and then a whole lot of the small donations as well, which is part of your fan base. And neither one of them are spooked right now based on the schedule. And another thing to consider is, look, that money has had to have been donated a while back. It's not like they won all these games last year and then suddenly the influx of money. For you to run those numbers, those have to come from a while back. He was able to get a lot of people to donate money before they really started to achieve success. That is part of what's amazing and so far ahead of schedule.
Don't you think that this is the new way you have to do it, though? The old, the Louder families and the Haslams and all that. I don't think in the future of college football we're looking at 5 or 6 big 7-figure donors, and that's going to pay for your athletics program. Also, you're then beholden to them. But if you can get a large donor base donating 4 or 5 figures, then all of a sudden you can make up the same amount of money without having to deal with the egos.
Well, and I also think it's key for Tennessee right now with the situation with the Haslam family. I mean, you've got Jimmy Haslam, who would be expected to be the guy that takes over for Big Jim. He's going to start running things and pouring the money in. His money is going to the Steelers, the Milwaukee Bucks. He's got the Columbus Crew soccer team. He's got a stadium up there. It's important now more than ever for Tennessee to start branching out and finding other revenue streams. Ryan, your thoughts on the money they're bringing in, and does it tie into our last conversation or not?
Yeah, a little bit in the sense that, you don't have much of an incentive to need to go out and schedule. You've got the money coming in already. It's all going to come down to winning. And in Danny White's case, you said it, he's a good fundraiser. He came up with the ticket policy that's brought in a lot of new revenue. They've stopped tying the donations to football to donations or to basketball season tickets. Now you've got to donate to basketball to get basketball season tickets. That angered some people, but it brought in more money. So they're doing some things well on the business side, and those decisions continue to pay off, and it's going to continue to make them a high money or high revenue school.
Yeah, I think this is proof that winning sells. They're winning across the board, so people are buying in a number of spots. Football is the big moneymaker. The schedule is not what sold out the season tickets. It's winning 11 games last year, and the excitement of the program, the excitement of the offense that Josh Heupel has.
That's a good point.
I also think that Danny White's a really good athletic director. I think he's hired really good people. I think he takes feedback. I think he listens and implements a lot of what is recommended, either from the outside or from his staff. And I think he has people that work for him that are doing a good job too. So I think he hired people that have also played a role in this.
And to Josh's point about the whole program, yes, football drives the bus, but if you're going to donate money that could go to a lot of different things, the belief that everything is working well, all the hires, all the encouragement, all the resources that they put into it, when you're a donor and you feel like the whole athletic department is in a much better place, you're more willing to donate the money. So everybody else having success, I think, helps with that money.
The other thing that's interesting, and we'll see how this is in 5-10 years from now, depending on what happens with NIL, if it changes or something. I wondered when the NIL came around if people were going to say, well, I'm giving my money for players, I'm not giving it to the university. Obviously, last year, Tennessee fans kept saying, university, university. What happens with the collective moving forward? And I mean that not just at Tennessee, but all over the place. Is there a change in the level of donations going to a school versus what's going to a collective to buy players? That's one to watch moving forward because we're still in the infancy of that situation. We don't know how that's going to play out. But anyway, we'll talk about that in the years to come. All right. By the way, though, incredible job by Danny White and the coaches over there who are winning at UT and fans. Man, when Tennessee's winning, you show up and you spend bucks. And that's why I think you deserve a few better games. But, you know, as long as you're paying the money, it's your money. All right. When we come back, fall practice begins on Wednesday. So what's the number one goal Tennessee must accomplish before the season opener? That's next. Come on back.